In this video, I will show you how to put together this graduation time box card, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So these are the parts of the card we're going to be making. So here are the front panels. This will go on the behind there. See, it's the right side. The hat, the congrats insert and the hat insert, and parts of the congrats and the stole. So this will be for the back. So this will be for the back to write a little sentiment or a black back tag. So we'll be, I don't want to confuse you either. We're going to be doing this card in a different color because black is hard to see, but ultimately a lot of people are going to want to make the black with colors. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you an example. So for this one, goes flat. So you can see that this one's black and we have yellow and purple. So I did make the color on this one a little bit different for the box. And you can do that. You can change colors, and that's why I don't want to confuse you too much with the yellow one, but I'll let you know when I'm doing different sections. So let's go ahead. We'll start with the black. So all these pieces, what we're going to go ahead and do is a little bit of inking. And the inking is just going to help us edge this and make it look a little bit better. We'll do that. So let's go ahead and pull this aside. And then this we'll need shortly. So we'll put this together. So we're going to do a little piecing and inking. And then this will go right here. So like that. So, and then this goes with this. So we're gonna go ahead and put some of those pieces together and do a little inking. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this distressed oxide. It's a pumice stone, so it goes a little lighter on the edges, but it's not white. You could use a white too, but you want to be sparing. So I just want to be able to see the edge when I line it up and layer it. So layer the gown on the front. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm using these little iCrafter finger brushes. And what I like to do is get a little bit on it, get it ready, primed up, and then just gently ink into this area. And you can't really see it, and you'll see it once we layer it. If you want to double check to see how much it's making an effect, you can kind of see right here. Right there. That's why we're not going to be doing a whole lot of assembly in black, but I do want to let you know that that's how the file's set up in black. So I would really stick to inking the long sides because that's where it will show. So right here, when you put it over, give it just a little dimension. So it's up to you. So you can give it a try. You can always do a test piece too. So that one I'm okay with. So I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to go ahead and do the same with the hat. Even though I'm going to pop up the hat a little bit, I'm just adding a little ink to the edge to highlight it. I'm only going to do the top panel. Just want to see how it shows up. And it's really slight on black. So if you did a color, if you decide to do a gown that has a color, then it might be slightly different. So now we're going to go ahead and we'll get rid of that. Let's go ahead and start layering. So let's go ahead and do the congrats. So we have 3 pieces here, or oops, 2 pieces. So this will go on this insert. Okay, so when you glue these together, so make sure that you have like a fine tip applicator or something. You could always brush it on, but it's going to help when you get around these letters. So I just like to put little dots where we have the G and the N. Try not to put glue too close to the center so I have a little wiggle room. It's really not that difficult, especially if you have a fine tip applicator. So let me get just a little more glue there. And what we'll do is line this up. Being careful so I can get it as accurate as possible in the first try. So I'm just lining it up with my fingertips up there. So you can use different school colors. Most of what I'm using is gold and blue. It's very popular. And you could actually use a gold. I just don't use gold because it's hard to see on camera. So we just use kind of a, this is actually cricket yellow because it kind of resembles gold and it's still cardstock, a textured cardstock. So once we get this together, we can go ahead and just glue it onto the insert. Try not to get glue on the front. I may have done that. And again, just line it up. This one has a little bit more wiggle room because you can glue the entire back. So I like flipping it over so I can see if the edges are lined up. That's why I go around the edge. So that's ready. So we're just getting it ready to assemble. So in this one, we're going to go ahead and add some foam tape. So we're going to go ahead and on the back of this, actually, you know what? I'm not going to foam tape that because it's not going to come out. Well, you could, but I'll do the other one foam tape. We're going to flatten that because otherwise you won't see the accents on the edge. And I purposely did not put that out there. So if you do double foam tape it, then you kind of have to line that up. So I'll show you in another one. Let's go ahead and just glue that on. And then we have this yellow. So that'll go right there, and then this will go on top of that. Just making sure. This particular Cricut cardstock, which I don't have a whole lot of it, I usually use American Crafts. But this particular one, I like certain colors, but it's textured on both sides, so sometimes it's hard to see what side you're on. So I'm just getting it lined up here. And then it'll automatically drop that down toward the center there. So for what I'm going to do right here is put some pop-up dots. So there's single ones you can buy that are like this. Similar to this. I know I have them all over the place. These are the bigger ones. They come on sheets like this, sometimes easy, but these are the bigger ones. But I'm using one on a roll, and so what I do, I want it to be a little bit dimensional, but I don't want it to be popping up too much. So I don't know if you can see the little glue dots there. I'm going to take this, I didn't have it with me here, my pick-me-up stick. I'm going to lightly use it because the one thing about these I don't like is that I like to take the top off every time I use it a little bit. It has a little sticky at the end to pick things up easily. But I don't like when it gets on my actual paper. So let's see if we got enough going on here. There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it there. And I don't really need the pick-me-up stick for this part. I'm just going to do a couple layers of it. So I'm adding a couple, because it's such a small dot, and you could use an enamel dot too instead of this. I just want it big enough to cover this. So it kind of creates the dimension. You can see it. I didn't ink that one. So we go ahead and we have that done. So that's the second insert done. Let's go ahead and put this away. And to layer this, we need to take these pieces right here. The stole. So again, it's hard because they're textured on both sides. It's heavily textured more on the front one side. It's the one I'm using. And then this is American Crafts. So this will be centered. So these blue pieces are centered and the stoles. And then we'll piece together the front. If you do like this project and or any of our projects, I always ask if you can give me a little like or thumbs up on the video and or subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. And if you hit that little notification bell to the right, you'll be notified when we have new content. So with this, now this is the front, so don't get this confused with the back. So the back panel looks like this and it has no color. I can get it there. When we go ahead and layer it, we're going to go ahead and put this on. We're not going to do the white yet. So we're just going to line this up to the collar right there. I'm just carefully lining it up, and it should line up all the way down. Just making sure it's good and lined up correctly. And then this is the one that curves that way, is the left, and this is the right. It's like curve. So the way we'll place these, so you can do multicolor, single color. So the one that I'm going to show you in just a moment, it'll be, so this lines up at here, right there. But I'll show you a yellow one in just a minute. So I'm just lining it up on this corner up here. So, and then on this inside corner right here, right there. So you could really personalize this file by changing colors. Again, I'm going to show you in just 1 minute now. We'll just go ahead. So now that I show you how to layer, I have that, right? I'm going to show you a similar in yellow right now. Similar. The difference is that the colors are a little bit different than what's in the file. This reflects what's in the file. So here's the yellow version that I'm going to show you. And I want to get these done because I'm going to show you how to assemble the card with the yellow so it's easier to see. So here's the difference is I put a little foam tape in there and I popped it up. So if that's the case, if you do that, and I already popped that top part to the top of the hat. But go ahead and you can add glue just like we did the last time. But depending on how thick it is or how popped up it is, you'll want to start down here. Get it lined up first. And then kind of goes above that. It just kind of goes up at a little bit of an angle. So there's that one right there. So you can see the difference when we use color. For this one, I didn't need the back of the yellow because I made it yellow. So it's up to you whether you want to use all. So in this one, we had the actual card was black, and we had the yellow and the blue panels, but this one I just needed the blue one. So that's all. So it saved me a little bit of paper on doing one that's in a colored format. So I've just given you ideas of how you can mix and match. So now we're going to go ahead and put the card together. So we have this little white piece, and this will be the same on the black. where you can go ahead and line that up right here. That's the front. So you don't want to put the front panel on with the actual gown until after we put it together because of the shape. The front or back, really. So we want to line it up. Just everything's easier when it's flat. You can line it up right there. Make sure it's centered on that panel. And then we can go ahead and put it together. So we folded it, and you see this little tab. Fold that well. So again, just envision this in black. So it's the same steps. So we're going to go ahead, flip it upside down. We know this is the front, right there. So the very front one is going to be the cap. And then we're going to have the congrats. So you see how I put them upside down? I'm just going to move this to the side upside down. I'm going to flip this over. We want these tabs to go forward. So I'm going to fold them back, and then I'm going to fold them forward and get a good fold on it, like that. Make sure you get a nice sharp fold on it. So this is considered a valley fold, and this is considered a mountain fold. So I'm flipping it upside down again. So now we're going to want to glue it here. So you can see I have it folded forward. So upside down, it's going to be the right one though, but upside down it's the left. So I'm just going to go like this, flip it upside down, and right where this, right here, we're going to fold this edge close to that. So I'm going to go flat because of this. Let's see if we can do this. See, if you pre-fold the card, that's why we do this. I'm going to put it towards the top edge right here, right there. Once I get it in place, so you want to make sure it doesn't go over this little fold right here. I'm going to fold it over. You want to lift it up and do that. So you could put that on after, but I want to make sure it's straight across, as straight as it can be. So that's why I'm folding it this way, then applying pressure. That's where it's going to fold like this. So this one, looking at it, we want to add glue on the right if we're looking from the front. But of course, upside down is going to be on the left. So we went just flat. So as you did, you went this near the, you had this edge near this fold. You want this edge near this fold. So go towards the top again. Make sure you kind of line it up at the top. And you don't have to go right up to it, because if you go right up to it, you could go over it by accident. So I'm kind of lining it up with the other one. You can see how it's lined up right here. Just move this. And just making sure it's good and glued on. I'm folding it over. I have to lift it up to fold it over because of the shape. So now we're going to go ahead and fold it right there. Okay, so this is going to fold under. The front one will fold under, and the back one will be just flat like you see it. So I'm going to fold it over like that. See that? So we're going to go ahead, and I'll do one at a time just to make it easier. I'm going to add glue to this. See how the tab's folded in? I'm going to fold it over. I'm just lifting it to make sure the glue doesn't get where it doesn't need to. It's kind of awkward me showing. You can do these both at once. And the way I'm being awkward is just because I'm trying to show it to you one at a time. That's not going to work. Let's do them both at once. So we'll add glue to this tab. Just making sure they're lined up still right here on the bottom. You can see that goes right up to this edge here. So the biggest thing is, remember, is the front one, the cap, it should be folded under, and this back one should be flat. to go where it needs to go. Making sure that it's, you can see it, it's coming together here. So the last thing we want to do is to fold this over, this big long tab, and add glue here and glue it on the inside. And just get a good, making sure it's good and secure. So it's kind of coming together. You want to continue folding it the same way we folded it because that's how it will fold easily. So next we'll go ahead and put this on. Line this up. So what you want to do is, you can see it's kind of centered. You want to line this up. If you line it up at the top, it should line up where it needs to go. Oops, we don't want to add glue. You want to add glue just like right there. You don't want to get glue where the collar is. So you could add glue to the back of this middle, but we really don't want to do that. You can see I just omitted the glue there. I'm just going to go ahead and line it up with the little curves at the top so we can make sure it centers. And the same thing we want to do on the back. So you can see there's a little edge on any of these. So you want to make sure you importantly line this up with that little curve at the top, and that will ensure it's centered. So you just want to be, it goes right from edge to shoulder to shoulder. Just showing you one more time. I know it's hard to see with black, but make sure this is not too high because you don't want these to be too high so it's not too big. It does fit into A7 envelope, which is part of our basic envelope set that's for free on our website, and so it flattens to 5x7. So I wanted to show you one more time to do it all at once. Is to add glue folded forward on this folded forward piece, and then glue here. And then when you fold it over, didn't mean to get glue there. Just making sure that this, I kind of know how far each one goes, and just really get them. So the front one folded inward, and then the back one flat. Then flip that over again. So now you probably can tell why I didn't do the whole video in black, because I do make that mistake. I have made that mistake a couple times, but sometimes I make black designs that are primarily black, like Halloween, and it gets time consuming to have to do 2 different versions of it, but sometimes it's necessary. So you can see, so we're just going to add this to the front, and then this on the back. So this goes right here. Oops. Right here. So the back. So what I would do is center this. So this is just for you to write on. So I'm going to I can make a decision whether I want it to be, I'm going to have the texture side down for this so it's easier to write on. This is American Crafts textured cardstock, white. But I tend to like only the, I like to actually write on the flat side, smooth side. Hate that when that happens. So that's the back of the card. You don't have to put that on, but if you could always put just a little square thing on the back there, and then just like we did the front. This doesn't have a backing. I do my best to line it up at the top here. So if you lined it up, it'll be centered. If you needed to, you could always make the A7 card just slightly. For some reason, if you needed to cut one out, the A7 envelope, I should say, then you could make it just a little bit bigger. Like in the file, you just enlarge it by just a smidgen to make it a little bit bigger if for some reason you are off a little bit. This was a little bit high, or these were off just a little bit, because it should fit though. Flat. So they see the difference between the, got a little glue where you could see it. That wasn't smart. So I'm just trying to line it up there. So there's that one. So I didn't put the back on this, so let's go ahead and do that. So you can see it flat. And you could add a little sentiment here if you wanted to, a little tag or something like that. Let's go ahead and add this one. So you can see you could make it, you know, most of my graduation files are with a black gown, but you can easily make it a little bit more customized if you change up the colors a bit. Add color gowns, because a lot of people, I can't remember whether my gown was, I think it was still black. It was more traditional when I graduated high school and college. And I chose to make the sides solid, the same color as the gown, just for fluid. So there it is. So you can see the different looks. This one doesn't have a little center stole. So I hope you enjoyed this file, and I thank you so much for watching.